Okay, so Lea is here with us from the Ohoho festival in Zagreb. It's a comic and street art festival that just happened a week before. And I gotta say, I was there also. I had quite some fun. It's happening in the squatted place called Medika. It also has a comic fair. And then there are also the conversations in the evening and also painting of the walls. So everything's happening through the day. And Lea, it's very glad to have you here in Ljubljana now. But first, I would actually like to ask you, what is the story behind Ohoho Fest? Since, as far as I heard, for a couple of years there was Ohoho, and then for a couple of years there was no Ohoho, and now it is back again. How did it all begin? How did it came to the festival that it is today? Maybe at least how it happened, this second part.
No, I actually have no idea how the original Ohoho came to be. I know it started in 2012, and I participated in a couple of years as a street artist. I actually did murals. And then there was a big silence for like 2 years, and nothing was happening, and I honestly have no idea why, why it stopped. At one point, a friend of mine, Lea Kralj Jager, called me if I wanted to participate in the comic selection of the festival. Of that part of the festival itself has two teams. One is for street art, the other is for comic artists, and I was called to be the artist coordinator. I don't know even how to call it in English. And Marko Dješka was also called, that I didn't even know. We found out when we met at the same place on the meeting, and we were asked if we wanted to take over the festival and start organizing it, and we said yes. And that was in 2019, and we have been going strong since then. This is our third year doing the festival, at least the comic side of the festival. Mm-hmm. And we're pretty happy. It's alive again, and people seem to be happy to be able to participate again.
Yeah. It's also a very nice atmosphere. But your main focus, as far as I recognized, is on comic fanzines. There's probably quite a better scene. For example, in Slovenia, fanzines at the moment that are trending are more like these hipster fanzines they're more like designer, not really comics, a lot of colors. You mostly have these black and white, but real comics inside. Yeah, how big is this scene actually in Croatia? Are there a lot of comic fanzines that came into contact with you?
It's actually a relatively small scene, I would say, but it's very lively. Where we like in infrastructure, we have a lot of will and need to make more and more comics. The original idea about our part of Ohoho was to make a platform for all kind of comic artists to be able to participate. So not just the traditional old school zines that you print in your own bedroom and then staple them and try to sell them, but also the type of zine we're releasing that's more of an anthology that has more indie comic artists in it. But we also do promotions of more mainstream things, and this year we actually had promotions of zines that have been on the scene for a whole bunch of years, and then, okay, Strop is a bit younger, but it's made by Darko Macan, who is one of the OGs of the comic scene in Croatia. So we want to make a whole nice little place where young artists that are just starting out and want to find a place to express themselves, and also old school artists that want new places to come and promote their old work or newer work, that they can all come together and actually hang out, meet each other, and cooperate. What's the word? Yeah. Suradnja.
It's cooperation, yeah.
Yeah.
3 years ago, when you started the festival again, you also started with the fanzine of Ohoho Festival, which we see a part of it now. Well, if I go back, this was your
that was the first one.
Yeah. And then we can see a bit of very quality comics.
Yeah.
So it's not like that only this, I don't know, graffiti artists that say oh, hey, I have 5 minutes, I'm gonna make a comic. There are quite some very important authors also there.
We're absolutely very lucky that we have a whole bunch of really good new voices and old voices in every issue of Ohoho. This one is from Korinja Hunak, which is an awesome artist who everybody should follow. This is the second issue that was, so each issue is topical. The first issue was anti-fascism and activism in general, because the first Ohoho that we did was actually on the weekend that the holiday about anti-fascism was. Antifascistička borba.
That was in spring, right?
Yeah. That was our first week, and it was like, oh, this is actually a good topic. We should make the first zine about this. So all the comics were about anti-fascism and activism. The second one was about Slavic mythology and folklore. That's what this comic is from. And the last one is love triangles, because we wanted to have it as a topic and we didn't want to do anything corona-based. So each zine has a call that people can apply to with their own comics, and each zine has a theme of its own. So comics have to be made according to the theme. Okay, this is Stipan Tadić, also a younger author, very important, makes really good things. He now lives and works in New York, I think.
Yeah. Really? Yeah. So you have these diaspora authors.
Yeah.
That
we're strong.
So there's quite some Croatian authors that are working for foreign, especially American, French publishing houses.
Yeah, we have a couple of people that are very successful working for DC and Marvel. I have no idea how they got to that. Don't ask me. But I'm very proud of them, and that's good. Because not a lot of people can actually live from comics in Croatia. Those who can are usually people who do things for big houses like DC and Marvel. Yeah.
Wow, that's quite amazing. I heard like Dalibor Talajic has a whole studio of artists working for American publishing houses for Marvel.
I think so. I think. Yeah, I think so, but I'm not that in tune with how people do it commercially.
You're more into indie comics, as we can see here.
Yeah.
Maybe we should do a bit of commercial. Now you have an open call for the 4th issue already.
Yes, the 4th issue of Ohoho is about space opera, and the deadline is, I think, the end of February. It's all on Facebook. You just need to Google Ohoho comic zine open call. You should pop up.
And you made fun at the festival that you can apply anything, just don't do a parody of Star Wars.
Yes, that's the main rule for some reason. I think that was because of Diežka. I'm actually not sure. I think that was his, because they thought that because space opera is the topic, that everybody's just going to make a parody of Star Wars. So, no. But if it's really, really good and well drawn, maybe we'll consider it, but I can't guarantee it.
Do you take a lot of comics? Do you need to reject someone that applies for the open call? Are there a lot of them?
Well, each year more and more, but also we are limited about how many pages we can have, because it's expensive to do this. I mean, it's black and white mostly because it's cheaper to print it that way. But yeah, we have extra artists that are not. It's awful to say not good enough, because I'm so glad anybody sends something in, and any comic, even if it's not good enough, it's love and work put onto a paper, and it always breaks my heart. I'm usually the one sending out the emails when somebody doesn't pass, and I hate doing that. But there are actually 3 tiers. If somebody doesn't make it into the printed version of the zine, but the comic was still really good, we put it on the web. We put it on Facebook. Because, I mean, all of the comics that you can read in the printed issue are actually available online after a while, because I think the most important thing is to be able to reach the biggest audience and not just sell a couple of copies, honestly. So even if you didn't go into the printed issue, we will still like to promote you if it was, if we said it was okay.
So you have English or Croatian?
Oh, we have both. We have English and Croatian. Every zine has, I think, 150 copies that are in Croatian and 50 that are in English, which can be bought outside.
Yeah, which can be bought outside at by the Strip Burger stand. Okay, so I heard that in the first zine, well, I actually also read it, is also one Slovene comic author, the most anti-fascist comic author from Slovenia, I guess.
That's why we called him to participate.
You called him yourself?
Yeah, I think so. Not me personally. I think Diežka was in communication. I'm not sure anymore. I know Matija was the one writing in the text in English for the English version, but I wasn't the one directly communicating with him. I met him later. He's a great guy.
You had any other Slovene authors, maybe later in the issues?
If they apply, they should. Okay. They probably will be.
maybe authors from somewhere else. I believe that Croatia is much more connected to Serbia and Bosnia than
we have Serbian and I think one Bosnian author, Medika, but I mean, every issue of the zine is international. You can apply from anywhere. You just need to specify if it needs translations. I usually do the English translations of the comics, so I apologize to anybody reading.
It's no problem. Fanzines usually have these mistakes, you know, so I believe that's totally worth it. Can you maybe tell us a little bit more about the authors that we can see right now?
Oh, this is Marko Deška. He is my partner in crime in the festival, and also he does the comic for the zine. And he's part of the editorial team. Me, Deška, and Matija Pisačić are the editorial team for the zine.
So how do you decide that you're going to put one of your own comics in the fanzine? Is it hard? Like you say, okay, this is my comic, I'm not going to cooperate in this discussion now? Or
No, we have to participate. I think Deška's logic behind it was that if we won't publish our own comics, how can we publish anybody else's? Like, we have to also do it. That's it. There isn't any much discussion about it, but if the comic is not good enough, it will not be in the zine, even if it's from one of us.
So, did you send me one of your
I think it was
comics,
before
maybe?
Deška's.
This one?
Yeah, this one. Yeah, this is for the folklore and mythology one.
And what is it about? We can only see one page here.
Oh, it's an old folk tale that's also a folk song that's apparently very popular, but nobody knows how to sing it anymore. It's about 3 women eating the heart of a shepherd. And by the story, it's his fiancée, his mother, and grandmother. Don't ask.
So you learned how to sing it yourself?
No, I actually tried to find on YouTube if anybody has any kind of version that's sang, but it was very hard to find it. There's only one that sounds very, very folky. And that's it, so I can't sing it. And honestly, you don't want me to sing anything.
Well, we'll see maybe in the evening if the atmosphere changes. But otherwise, when you did this anthology on Slavic mythology, did you find out about some new interesting myths that are maybe so long forgotten that even our grandmothers don't know about it?
Well, the one I did is. The rest I can't say, actually. I'm not sure. Some people took direct influence from myths that are known, and other people, I think, just kind of winged it and made their own stories loosely based on things.
Yeah. Okay. So, since we are talking in English now because we said, okay, depends on what the audience will understand, but also because those who will look at the conversation online, we have this generational gap, like people of our age, especially from Slovenia, usually don't understand Croatian no more. What is your connection actually to Slovenia? Is it loose? Is it existing?
It's very loose. I love to come to visit, but I have no other connection to Slovenia, I'm sorry.
Yeah, we should work on this, bringing Yugoslavian culture together again. It's like with basketball, you know, if whole Yugoslavia would still be, we would have better basketball teams. Really? Imagine Luka Doncic in basketball team of Yugoslavia, the world champions, I tell you. Okay, so let's go back to comics. We can see that you have quite different techniques in here. Was this a problem for printing maybe, or do you already have like these regulations how they need to? Do you get digital copies, or how do you get the?
Yeah, there is a list of rules that you should follow to apply for the zine, like the size of the page, that it's supposed to be black and white, bilingual in case you have issues translating, then you contact us and we help. But yeah, there is a whole list of rules that need to be, like, high res, like the basic ones. I don't think we ever actually had any issue with printing anything. Okay, maybe with one of my comics because I needed to draw more things into bleed, but that was pretty much it. Yeah, because the cutoff, if you want something to go off page, you need to draw it a bit more. That's it. But I think that's honestly the only issue we had.
But you got like, what is this? This looks like it's painted or something. So you get it digital, you don't get like these big pages that you should make in the small version yourselves, or you do get it?
No, if it's bigger, you just make it. It's really not an issue. Just make it smaller to fit.
But for example, how do you do it? Because if you have like this, some very small details on very big page, and if you make it smaller, maybe it's not even seen then.
Well, that sometimes happens if the zine is a smaller version than the page you originally drew, but that's that's something you have to keep an account of if you're making a new comic for the zine, that it has to be the right size. But sometimes people send us older work. And yeah, maybe that issue happens, but it was never really that big of a problem. I mean, we also, during the festival, have an exhibition with selection of comic pages from the zine, and then we print them on A3. So if it was something that doesn't look as pretty in a smaller format, it's an A3 there.
Yeah.
We try.
I imagine. Here we see one of your posters from last year's festival. By the way, the 2022 is going to be in the spring, or are you going to stay in October?
I think we're staying in October, yeah.
Okay. So we can see here again that, okay, you're connecting comics and street art.
Yes.
And okay, you started as a mural artist yourself, but is there a lot of connection, for example, in Zagreb, between comic scene and street art scene?
I actually don't know. I mean, yes and no. Some of our comic artists are also street artists, but that's pretty much it.
But usually there are separated guests for both
Yeah, usually,
parts.
because it's two different teams. And we're usually so busy with the comics section that I am ashamed to say that I don't have that much, I don't touch base that much with street artists anymore.
Oh, unfortunately, maybe you should draw like this big comic on
really
one part
should.
of Medika. By the way, Medika, a lot of people when I came back asked me, since this is a squatted place and the city doesn't really like its existence, how is it now with Medika? Probably 2022 is still going to be there. It's going to be in Medika.
I hope, but I mean, I'm outside of that. I'm not part of the team that actually lives and works there directly. We're like outside workers. But Medika, as long as I can remember, not even working on a festival in Medika, Medika is always, oh, maybe we won't be here next year. But it survives, so I'm kind of hoping it continues to survive.
Okay, so it's not like that cops come every month and like, oh, we don't like you here.
I don't think so. I don't know. I mean, I know there was at one point a couple of years ago when they tried to shut it down, so there were protests, and then it survived, and that's it.
So now it's kind of okay.
Yeah, we're swinging by again. It's going under the radar.
Yeah, it seemed quite peaceful, although there was a punk concert on Saturday night.
Oh yeah.
So concerts are still normally going.
Yeah, I think so, but I think they have to be done by like 11 p.m. because people leave. I mean, look, I'm old. I'm an old lady. I get this, so I will not bitch about it. But I have not seen any big issue about it. I mean, a lot of clubs that are in the city center have the same rules that concerts, especially if they're outside, they have to be done by a certain time, and that's it. But Medika in itself and our festival are really chill. I have never seen.
Well, for an old lady, you hide your gray hair very well. You're kind of jumpy too, but I
That's
hope.
my excitement, man.
Yeah. Okay, so here we see a part of exhibition. This is from last year.
Yeah, this is from last year.
So this was for the Slavic mythology.
Yeah. The main illustration from Dean Hammer is also the
Front page.
Yeah, the front page of the zine.
So who do you decide how do you decide who's going to be on the front page?
Oh, dear, some things come so spontaneously. I don't think we think too much about it, but I think that's also why the zine is so fresh. If something works, it works.
So here we can see a part of the street art paintings that you do. So every year these same walls are painted.
Yes.
Okay,
This is the way to repaint Medika. So the thing is that while there is an exhibition in Galleria Siva, there is also another part of the exhibition just building itself until Sunday.
So we gotta say, for those who might have been on Medika before, the gray gallery is now painted white, so it's not gray anymore.
Yes.
But it's gonna be gray again, or?
I have no idea. I mean, there is the Galleria Siva, Gallery Grey, but there is also grey room, so maybe
okay,
that's the grey one.
Two different gray parts of building who are not gray anymore.
Yes.
Okay, a little bit of more painting, and there are also paintings outside. So this, we could say, are so-called legal walls.
Yeah. Yes, these are the legal ones.
But do these paintings really stay there for a whole year?
Most of them, yes, actually. I've seen my own from like years past, like make it through the year and then get covered up by new artists.
Oh, well, that looks very nice. Here we can see, again, part of exhibition. Dogs are allowed, I guess?
Dogs are always allowed.
Okay, and this is also...
this is this year's, yeah.
This is this year's. It's also almost as the front page of this year's fanzine.
Yeah. This year we had the same plakat, the same poster for the festival as the main page on the zine. Last 2 years it was actually a bit different. I was the one doing the complete visual for the festival and somebody else was doing the front page for the zine. But now we want to make it as connected as possible. So it's the same type of visual. This is Ivana Geček, who is brilliant, has also a comic in the zine, and everybody should read.
Yeah, in Croatia you have quite some female authors, right?
We have a whole bunch, and I'm so happy.
Well,
it was a big surprise because I think the zine is half-half. I mean, I think even more women artists than guys in zines, which is awesome.
Like older or new artists?
Newer. Actually, all of them are younger than me.
How old are you, if it's not a secret, since you're saying about years so much?
I'm 36, I think.
You think?
Yeah, they're younger than me.
So we can really say a young generation, like people who go to university.
Yeah. Fresh kids.
Okay, you can also see on the pictures that there are quite, all generations. Well, the older generation is not really present there. Maybe Darko Macan is one of the oldest.
They're just not in the pictures. It's just in the selection.
Okay. So, are you censoring something in fanzine?
No, I think we have a main rule for the comics that people draw for us that there shouldn't be violence or sexually explicit things if it doesn't make sense in the story. If there is something just for exploitation, we kick it out. But I wouldn't say it's censoring as per se.
Okay, but it's okay if one of the editors, for example, Marko Dješka, writes a comic about swing club?
Oh, there's Dješka's whole comic about polyamory and a fetish club. So
fetish club, sorry.
It's there. Sadly, the English version, the print is a bit darker, so some scenes are not as visible.
Because they're happening in the dark.
Yeah, but it will be, if you buy the English version, you can still read the normal printed version, like online. I think there are 2 frames missing. It's really sad. It's really good drawings.
So, but it's okay, because this is not explicit. It's only a fetish club, but it's not explicit.
It has to make sense in the story. That's the point. We don't want any kind of exploitation like gore and porn. There is no need for it.
Okay. Interesting for indie fanzine, we would say, but of course why not? Okay, so here we can see the zine. What is this little...
we got the award.
Can see, but what is this white thingy on the top?
We got the award on Supertone for Best Comic Magazine.
This is the festival in Šibenik, right?
Yeah, it's an animation and now also a comic festival.
You got it this year?
Yes.
Okay, was the competition hard?
I think so, actually. I've seen the rest of the people that were there. I mean, I wasn't there personally, but I think it was a pretty good competition, actually. A lot of really talented people and a lot of really good zines and magazines. So I'm happy. I'm happy we were there, and I'm also happy that we got the prize for it.
So you got the first of the first prize. Yes. The first prize goes to Ohoho. Well, here's another interesting comic, although we see only the first part. Can you tell us a little bit more about it?
Anna Maria Kvas, the ex of my ex. It was the last topic was polyamory, so love triangles and any kind of a relationship that's different. So to say, it doesn't need to be completely sexual. But Ex of My Ex I think it's a very cute comic about how connected the lesbian scene is, especially in Zagreb. Like your girlfriend's ex is probably your ex as well. Yes.
Wow. So this is probably the time where you need one of your superheroes. I believe it's also a Zagreb female author that draws Super Dyke.
Helena Janečić. We have her as well in the last issue.
Because Super Dyke is like superhero that comes to help you with your
I think it's
home chores, right?
Is it Horny Dyke? Not Super Dyke.
The
Horny
Horny Dyke, sorry. So Horny Dyke, if you will ever need help with your home chores, you just call for Horny Dyke and Horny Dyke comes and helps you.
Oh God, I actually hope that that's the real name, or I completely forgot. Yeah, but no, Helena makes really good comics. They're really fun.
Yeah. Okay, so when you come home, you call her and you will see whether
and I'll
it's Horny or
apologize.
Super. Okay, Lea, thank you very much. Our time is up. Maybe if any from the audience has some questions. Otherwise, Lea is staying with us till the evening, so you can ask her something.
You can
yourself.
ask me later. It's okay.
Okay, so thank you very much. Hvala vam, da ste bili z nami. We will continue in 15 minutes with masterclass of Peter Cooper. Torej, hvala vam, čez 15 minut nadaljujemo z masterclassom Petra Coopera. Lea, once again, thank you very much. And
thank you for having me.
And I hope you enjoy your stay.